to Pet's Life with Gym Dog, Ireland's first pet resort by Des the Vet. Managed by vets, loved by pets. Daycare, vet care, premium pet food and grooming. Visit at petslife.ie.
Yes, for a Tuesday morning, we're back after our break. You can text or WhatsApp us now on 0833 97 97 97 if you got some problems with some of your domestic animals at home, whether it's a cat, dog or anything else that has 4 legs or 2 legs or whatever the case may be. Get in touch with us and we'd love to hear from you regarding, maybe it could be behavioural, it could be illness, it could be not up to, just a little bit off colour or not eating food or whatever. You know where we're coming from. The same questions are welcome on 0833 97 97 97. And back after his break. Hello. I was going to do it in Italian. But
good to be back.
So, did you learn any Italian since you were over there?
A couple of words I didn't know. Would you believe I did Latin in school, though?
Yeah.
That was, and Roman history.
And, of course, Latin, a lot of terminology will be used in vet world as well, would it?
Well, it is. That's very true, actually. When I went to veterinary college, I discovered that all the anatomical names and disease names are derived from Latin. Angiostrongylus vulgaris. They all sound like Harry Potter code.
Yes.
Harry Potter spell names.
Or something
all
from
the Latin terms.
Where Spock might be language talking.
So I had a fascination with Latin because I haven't done it in school. So I was myself in our break last week, James and I went to Rome.
Yeah.
And he is as interested in history as I am.
Yeah.
And we did Pompeii and all the ruins and sites in Rome and the Vatican and the zoo.
What's the Vatican like, actually?
It's really impressive. There's a wow moment of awe when you walk through this archway and you discover yourself in St. Peter's Square with the Basilica on one side and the papal headquarters on the right. It's vast. And very, very impressive. I suppose whether you're religious or not, it's an impressive place to visit. Spiritual regard. An impressive place to visit. And inside the Vatican, there's fantastic artworks and statues and sculptures going back thousands of years that are beautiful and worth seeing. And a lot of them are of saints, and a lot of them are of Roman gods and Greek gods and Roman senators and goddesses and the artwork is impressive, and the age of it. Yeah, you look at it, you really do have a moment of, wonder when you realise how old some of these sculptures and paintings actually are.
Yeah, great stuff. So
we did a great break.
Without asking you what you went to, because you did all the traditional stuff, was there stuff that you didn't get to see and you wish you did?
No,
you got it all done.
Yeah, 5 days in Rome, you can actually see all the main things.
Yeah.
Now, unless you want to really delve very deeply, there's a Michelangelo museum.
Yeah.
Like if you were a real student of art, you could probably spend a whole day in the Michelangelo museum. And you could go back to the Vatican and spend a second day there. Again, if you were a real student of art and history, you could do so.
And did you do the Sistine Chapel as well?
Yeah, the Sistine Chapel is part of the tour of the Vatican.
Yeah.
You get into it. You could spend a lot of time there, but I didn't enjoy kind of too much time in it because it's very, very crowded.
Yeah.
So you'd love to go on a day when it was empty and have time to look at everything properly. But with the crowds, it was kind of a case of a quick look in and out of it.
Yeah. You've done that. Tick off the box.
Yeah. Now, it's not as big, obviously, as St. Peter's Basilica. It's a small enough church. Yeah. And what's amazing about it is the artwork. Yeah. Because floor to ceiling, literally, is the most detailed and most beautiful paintings that were done by Michelangelo.
Yeah.
Yeah, in 1590-something.
It was in the 50s, yeah, absolutely. Very good. Okay, well done.
They have a rule in Rome, by the way, that
they?
No building can be as high as St. Peter's Basilica.
Right, didn't know that.
Yeah, every building. Now, Paris is a bit the same. There's the streetscape in the middle of Paris is all about 6 stories. Thereabouts. So they must have very strict ordinance controls on height in Paris as well. Now the banlieues, they call them, the suburbs around Paris where they have the social housing, they're higher. But Paris city centre tends to be around 5 to 6 stories high. I noticed everywhere in Rome 7 to 8 stories, every building maximum. 7 to 8 stories. And the reason why is because there's a very ancient ordinance, which was a papal decree, that no building could be higher than St. Peter's Basilica.
Yeah.
So they built everything to the exact same height. And it works very well because you have a vast number of people living in the cities in these apartment blocks of 7 or 8 stories. They're nice and tastefully built and look beautiful. And they're not too high to, block out the sun or spoil the streetscape. It's a nice height, but it means that there's nice density and there are enough people living in the city to create a kind of a vibrancy to the city centre. You'd love to see the same type of planning application in Dublin, and build everything to a nice height, 7 or 8 stories, and have a population of people, particularly younger people, living in the cities and bring the city centre of Dublin alive, like Rome. You could do it.
Yeah, it's a vibrant city, all right. You did the zoo.
Did the zoo because they had a number of different species in the zoo in Rome that they don't have in the zoo in Dublin. And also, again, it was a warm week, it was a warm time of year to go, and all of the African and Asian species that prefer warmer climates, we'll say, than Ireland, they were all out and about and enjoying themselves. You could see more activity from these species, the lions, the tigers, the wolves, the elephants, the hippos. They were all out and about and interacting because it was a lovely warm day.
Yeah, and that was the good thing about it, is if you could pick your time, you went in, say, September. So while it was still good weather, it wasn't crazy like July and August and the animals hiding in the shade and stuff.
It wasn't too, but now I heard it had been 40 degrees there during the summer, which would be unbearable for us.
Yeah.
It was 27, 28 degrees there last week.
Okay, that's okay.
Which was hot enough,
It's hot enough, but doable for the animals as well.
So we saw a lovely species. They have a white Bengal tiger there, which is extremely rare, an albino tiger. They have Asian lions, they have Asian elephants, a very, very, very rare species of lizard, the Komodo dragon.
Oh, they're a big yoke.
They're big. They're about 3 litres long. Now, this is purported to be the world's largest species of lizard.
Right, yeah.
They're a bit like a crocodile with the square front legs and the long, powerful tail, and they're about 3 metres long, and they can be quite fast.
Right, yeah.
They're a poisonous lizard.
Are they?
Yeah, they are.
That,
They have a coagulant, a blood-clotting poison in their teeth, and when they bite, it kills their prey.
Right.
They're
so they're
carnivorous.
dangerous to humans as well.
They're dangerous to humans, and they're lethal to any animal. They're solitary. They'll kill each other unless they come across a female in heat.
Right.
They're an impressive and dangerous beast of a lizard. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. And they had one there. Don't have one in Dublin.
Are they solitary? The fact
they're
that they have
solitary.
one, so it didn't matter.
Males will fight to the death, apparently. Because they're territorial.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So they only had one there.
Yeah.
Now, he was very active because I guess it must have been nearly feeding time. There were keepers working away behind a glass screen. We could see them, and he was watching them and moving about like a dog waiting for his dinner.
Right, yeah. And what's in comparison to Dublin? What is the Rome Zoo like?
It's a bit smaller. You can get around it easier. You can get around it in one day. It's nice. It's picturesque. It's well landscaped. Some of the animal habitats are a little small.
Right, yeah.
You'd like to see. Now, the chimpanzees and the gorillas and so on in Dublin have lovely big, well furnished and great vegetation.
The island areas, and they're able to cross on ropes and things.
It's very natural, the habitat in Dublin. The habitat was more concrete and blocky and less natural for the chimps and some of the primate species. I felt a little bit sorry for them in Rome. So Dublin have done a really good job in creating these natural habitats. Rome didn't quite have that.
Okay.
To the same extent.
Overall, a good experience.
But overall, it was a really good experience. They had a lovely Asian elephant, and he was out giving himself a dust bath. They have a pygmy hippopotamus.
Yeah.
Which is, now the pygmy hippopotamus, they live along the rivers of West Africa, whereas the larger hippopotamuses, they live in the lakes in Central and South Africa.
Yeah.
So the difference in size between a pygmy hippo and a normal hippo is, a pygmy hippo would be the size of a pony, whereas a normal hippo is the size of an elephant.
Right, yeah.
They're vast.
Yeah.
So they have 2 of these normal sized hippos, and they were basking in their little lake, huge big hippos, and they have a single pygmy hippo on his own. And as I say, their habitat is forest and grassland in West Africa.
Yeah.
And incidentally, do you know the hippopotamus is Greek?
Yeah.
For water horse.
I did know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know.
Horse.
I knew it was water something.
Yeah. So the fact that they have a pygmy hippo there.
Yeah.
Would he be a water pony?
Yeah, probably. And did they do domestic animals like a pet zoo or anything like that?
Oh, yeah. They have a petting zoo there. Now, years ago when I was a child, I remember a petting zoo in Dublin Zoo, and I remember a similar type of a small kind of a pet farm in the National Stud, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So they have something similar to that there in the zoo in Rome, and they have donkeys and goats and things like that there.
Very good.
They have these Sardinian donkeys,
and
they have a few kind of native breeds of sheep.
Very good.
That are used on farms. So it's nice, and there were a lot of children there. There were school groups there.
Was it busy?
Enjoying it. No, it wasn't too bad. The zoo wasn't too bad, no.
And what, in relation to geographical, where is Dublin, is Rome Zoo just outside, or is it?
20 minutes on a bus.
Very good.
It was just on a double decker.
Yeah.
Simple to get there, yeah.
Absolutely terrific.
Lots of dogs. I noticed again, this is a thing, and it's coming in here now, increasingly, dog ownership. So lots and lots of dogs. Dog ownership on the continent, Paris, Rome, these cities.
Yeah.
Very much a way of life. All the apartment dwelling, city dwelling people, they all have dogs.
What type of dogs are they?
Lots of Chihuahuas and Bichons I saw.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
They're the ones that sit beside you at your feet when you're eating, eating out of the restaurants?
Yeah. There were a lot, and that's it, to be there in their little harnesses and with their little drinking bowls inside in all the restaurants.
Yeah.
Yeah, these little dogs. Now, the odd big dog as well. Say, Belgian Malinois, saw a few of them, so they must be popular there.
Yeah, very good.
But Chihuahuas, probably mostly Chihuahuas.
Okay, very good. What else are we on about today?
There's a story in the news, again, about a cat in the States, California, which died mysteriously, died suddenly. Vets didn't know what was wrong, sent it for post-mortem. Post-mortem results and all the tests in the lab confirmed that this cat died of avian influenza.
Avian influenza?
Yeah, avian influenza, this H5N1 virus, which poultry farmers are so worried about.
Yeah.
And it's endemic in wild birds, you see.
Right. So, and of course cats would eat the
now,
words.
this particular, so it's an investigation then, what they call the FDA, the Federal Drug Agency, and what do they call the big public health authority over there, like the HSA, Health and Safety Authority here, the same group. Now, they swooped in and did a big investigation as to where or how this cat picked up H5N1, and they traced it back to contaminated raw diet. Raw diet.
Wow.
So, something I have to say to people, there is no earthly good reason to feed a cat or a dog raw meat.
Yeah. Because
it's dangerous. It contains all kinds of bugs. Campylobacter, E. coli, Salmonella, and lately now, these raw diets are containing avian influenza. And obviously, cooked food, you can cook all the bugs and contaminants out of food. If you get fresh, raw meat, it doesn't really matter what pathogen is in it. If you cook it, it's safe.
Yeah.
But if you feed it raw, all bets are off.
Right.
And my worry would be the next pandemic will come from some type of careless cross-contamination between species, such as feeding contaminated meat to a domestic pet.
Yeah.
So we have to be so careful.
Absolutely.
So California, another case of a cat died from avian influenza. And we have it here. And the HSA here during the summer actually issued a warning to the general public not to touch or handle sick or dying or injured wild birds.
Right.
Because there were 5 or 6 cases of avian influenza, H5N1 virus, found in raw birds. Buzzards in Donegal, seagulls in Dublin, something else in Galway. Raw, sick and dying wild birds infected with avian influenza. So we have to be so careful.
Yeah. Because
we can catch it ourselves.
Okay.
That's the thing. Farm workers in the States have died from it, avian influenza. Now, the incidences of humans getting very sick from avian influenza are rare, thankfully, but the danger is the virus only just has to mutate a little bit.
Yeah.
And we could be in trouble with it.
Right, okay, fair enough. Jean was on, she says, what are the symptoms of cat arthritis? Her cat is 5 years old and in great health, but noticed lately being a little bit lame. I thought it was something that she might have put her foot on, but now we realise that it's more than 2 weeks and she's still going around as if she's lame.
Yeah, so if this cat had a very, very active younger life for the first few years of their life, did a lot of hunting, or maybe had a couple of accidents even, there could be arthritis, there could be joint damage there. 5 sounds young. I'm usually looking for that in cats age 9 or 10 onwards.
Okay.
The signs are different from dogs because cats are more secretive.
Right.
They won't lame. They won't limp as much. They won't hold the paw up as much. They won't show you that they're sore. Generally speaking, it's a reduction in activity levels. Your cat appears to be becoming lazier.
Yeah.
Hunting less active, not jumping up on the kitchen worktops, not jumping up on the tables and chairs. So a less active cat, a lazier cat, a cat that seems to be becoming lazier, that's a cat that's probably sore and painful.
Yeah.
Strangely enough now, the incidence of arthritis is surprisingly common. It's nearly as common in cats as it is in dogs, but harder to detect and less commonly diagnosed. They get arthritis in their elbows, shoulders and hips.
Yeah.
Just the same as big dogs do.
Okay. Margaret was on. She says, Jez, looking for a bit of advice regarding heating a cat or heating kennels during the winter. Both our cats love staying out in the winter, but strange, they love being indoors in the summer, the opposite to normal cats. So we decided that we wanted to get something to keep them nice and cosy outside. Is there anything that we can get or you can recommend?
Yeah, the infrared lamps that you can buy in the agricultural co-ops.
Okay, are they the ones that you use for chicken co-ops and coops and things like that?
Yes, so farmers would use them for calves and lambs and, calving sheds and so on. And they're very handy. A big red, and they're well protected inside a metal cage, and they can be hung up from the ceiling. A good electrician would hang one and just check that your power supply is strong enough. And they come with a nice long 3 or 4 metre cord. They just have a standard 3-point plug on them.
Yeah.
And it's just a normal 220 volt connection.
Yeah.
So they are the best, the infrared lamps, and they're portable and they're fully movable and they're dead safe. You can get them, for instance, in places like Clonbia in Monasterevin.
Right, brilliant idea. Well done, Des. Thanks for that. Hold on, there's another one. Come on in. Just click on this one here. Good afternoon, guys. Des is right about the next pandemic, but could be from different source. Dairy cattle in the USA have also caught the avian flu, says Mark in Templeogue.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And that's and cattle caught it but didn't die from it. However, there was Oregon, which is one of these states where there are a lot of cattle feedlots. 2 agricultural workers died of it, and they were farm workers who worked with cattle.
Yeah.
So it's scary enough. We have to be very careful about there are 2 things we can do. Be more careful handling wild animals.
Okay.
Wild birds. And number 2, cook food for our pets. Don't be feeding raw.
Okay, Paul was on. He said regarding the infrared lights, you can actually get ones that will you can leave out during the winter with solar panels that will actually permanently light and save on electricity as well.
Lovely, that sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds. I've seen that before. I've seen that before. My neighbour has.
Yeah.
I don't know what, but I think they were more like LED infrareds. It was it was really. He said it was very cost effective as well.
Can you buy a couple of solars and put them on the?
I think it was just like one little panel. I googled it before. I remember seeing it was one panel, and you put it on top of the kennel or put on top of the shed or whatever.
That'd be excellent, and there'd be enough power in it to heat a lamp.
It is enough power generally to keep the lamp going, but don't forget that there's less sunshine in the winter months.
Yes.
So you might have to kind of balance it out a little bit. But I did Google that myself.
That's a great idea,
and
it's a really cheap, sustainable solution.
You can also kind of get LED type like infrareds that'll keep the kennels and the catteries warm. But
ideal for kennels and catteries.
Yes, absolutely.
Brilliant.
Yeah. I know you said to me before you can actually get kind of a cat and dog kind of electric blanket type jobs as well.
You can. We use them for animals after operations. You can get these nice plug-in heated beds, and they're very safe. Any good pet shop would have them.
Yeah.
As I say, we put them under animals during anaesthesia and after anaesthesia.
Yeah.
Those are kind of heated beds. Yeah.
Great idea. Absolutely cracking good idea.
Yeah.
Because animals like to do their own thing, you know, especially cats as well.
Give them the option of coming in if they want to.
Well, dogs kind of like being out and about, dossing around in the middle of the night as well, even if they are indoor dogs. But they still, at the end of the day, when it gets too cold, nothing like a cat and a dog sitting down in front of the fire anyway.
The older ones, it'll soon be time to start keeping them in and thinking about that.
Absolutely.
As they stiffen up, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And so go back to the stuff that's going on across the water, and you're thinking about the avian flus and things like that. I thought all that stuff kind of had subsided a little bit.
Yeah, you see, okay, so this is autumn, September. So the source of H5N1 is a reservoir of viral infection in wild birds. Now, our poultry sector here are really, really careful, and about chickens, egg-laying chickens and meat-producing chickens, they're very well insulated or cordoned off from wild birds. These chicken farms have fantastic safety measures in place to prevent cross-contamination from domestic birds, between domestic birds and wild birds. However, in the US, where some of these poultry farms are just vast, I suppose at times it becomes impossible to prevent cross-contamination, especially if the wild bird population in an area is extensive.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Another question regarding kennels and categories. Des, is there a way of insulating? Can you insulate cats and catteries and kennels to keep the animals warm?
course you can. Absolutely. Yeah. The same as you could insulate.
But I think from the point that if you put like the normal stuff you put in the roof, that wouldn't be very good because it's fibre and it'd be too close to the animal and the skin and everything else.
Be too close to the animal.
You'd probably have to put something in front of it.
You don't need to ventilate animal housing to the same extent as human housing.
Right.
They actually need more fresh air. You'd be better off to look at what would the model of a small calf house be.
Yeah.
And that would be probably ideal for dogs and cats. Good ventilation.
Yeah.
The important thing would be insulation from damp. Because if the floor is dry and the walls are dry and exposure to the wind is controlled to an extent. In other words, if the ventilation is maybe a 2 metre height, well above height, that there isn't a crosswind blowing across the animals, but they won't be cold.
But you know, in the kennels you have the little yoki bob where they enter in at the front door, like the years ago they used to have kind of plastic flaps and things. They don't seem to do them anymore, do they?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could leave the kennel door just open, but you'd have a crosswind if you did that. You'd be better off having a flap on it and having the ventilated slits at the top.
Very good idea.
You don't need to ventilate an animal house to the same extent as you would a human dwelling place. They prefer fresh air and they prefer a lower temperature. So we're going to heat our houses, for instance, especially the newer houses that are extremely well ventilated, that have the 100% ventilation. They're going to be 19 to 20 degrees during the winter, and that's the temperature we're comfortable at night. 15, 16 degrees would be warm enough for a dog and cat.
Okay, well done. On that note, we'll park it there for this week. Of course, we'll be podcasting this episode a little bit later on. Welcome back from your travels, Des, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Thanks, John.
It's a Pet's Life with Gym Dog, Ireland's first pet resort by Des the Vet. Managed by vets, loved by pets. Daycare, vet care, premium pet food and grooming. Visit at petslife.ie.